Hi, everybody. Please let me know if you can hear me all right. Am I coming through okay? Well, don't have much of an audience, so it's hard to. But if there isn't anybody watching, please let me know how the sound is. I know we had some technical issues with the sound last time. So please let me know. I will just continue on. So I just want to, you might have heard about this story about YouTube secretly labeling a video of mine harmful or dangerous. And I can show you very clearly how this is. So I'll just show you. So first, quick backstory. I made a video just comparing Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump's claims of election integrity failures. Hillary Clinton in 2016, Donald Trump in 2020, but some in 2016 as well. And anyway, the video was deleted when YouTube had their policy. They had an election misinformation policy where they would delete videos that challenged the 2020 election results. And yeah, so they deleted it. Now, earlier this year in June, they said that they were no longer going to delete videos like that. And so I was like, oh, well, let's see if that's for real. Let's check it out. Let's do a little experiment and re-upload that video that they had previously deleted. Now, they didn't delete it. They demonetized it. Seems like they demonetize all my videos automatically. I appealed it, and they said, you're right. It's suitable for all audiences, all advertisers. So, and I got an email, and here's the email. You can see great news, and this was sent to me in June this year. Great news. After manually reviewing your video, we've determined that it's suitable for all advertisers. And the video is rigged election claims, Trump 2020 versus Clinton 2016. Now, check it out. Now, what I did recently, I was looking through my YouTube library, and looks like things changed. Things did change. So if I just click the link right here, remember, this is an email saying that it is suitable for all advertisers. And this is under manual review. Click the link, and this video, now, but let's look at the analytics. So if I go into this myself now, go into monetization, it says limited. It's limited ads now. Then it says the exact opposite. This video has been confirmed by manual review as not suitable for most advertisers. And we look at the view feedback, and it says it's a human reviewer found that the video is suitable for limited ads, which means not suitable for most advertisers. And they say that it violates their harmful or dangerous acts policy. So how weird is that, right? Now, and what's especially weird and kind of and messed up and concerning is that I got no notification about this. Okay, so for example, in the past, I've had I actually had my entire channel demonetized when YouTube accused me of having some associated with violent criminal organizations, some violation of their quote violent criminal organization policy. That was back in July 2021, and I've referenced that in my Twitter thread. I saw a couple comments on my YouTube channel today saying that they're sorry that my entire channel has been demonetized because of that rigged elections video. That's not my channel is not demonetized now, thankfully. And it wasn't entirely demonetized because of that video. That video was demonetized. Now, let me just explain. So, I mean, I guess someone read the thread and misread it, because what I say is I bring up how YouTube, quote, YouTube previously falsely accused my content of association with violent criminal organizations. So this is not my first rodeo, but this is the first time I've learned my content has been officially labeled dangerous by YouTube without any notification. So that is what's new. That is what is so concerning. You've probably heard of the insane news story about the Gray Zone having a GoFundMe that raised over 100K, and to do their reporting, to fund their reporting, and GoFundMe froze the money, wouldn't give it to them, wouldn't even return it to the people who donated. Now that's a huge news story that deserves to get press. Now, I've actually been lucky to get some press on my little story here, and I just want to point out that this is obviously is not the same scale as something like what happened to the Gray Zone, but it's the same principle, right? People are taking money away, disincentivizing people, demonetizing people, taking incomes away from people just for wrongthink, right? And what's so crazy is, I mean, there's many elements of this that are crazy, but you'll see, remember, this is under they say this is a violation. They demonetize this video because they say it's a violation of their harmful or dangerous acts policy. Now, if it was harmful, if it's actually harmful or dangerous, like actually harmful or dangerous, like then there would be some logic into deleting it. But they don't do that anymore. I think it's good that they don't delete it. I think it's ridiculous that they can, will still say that it's harmful or dangerous. Obviously, that's bullshit, because if it really was something that was harmful or dangerous, they wouldn't keep it up. So, okay. What else did I? Oh, I also want to mention that I have not. So of course, I did email YouTube about this with Matt Taibbi, and haven't heard a response yet. I should say we got a response saying that they would look into it, but no response about why, or nothing further other than they will look into it. They didn't respond further. So yeah, that's that. What else? Oh, I'll give you I thought I could give you a comparison about, so people can see like what demonetization really does. So here you could see, okay, so you got about 50K views, and it earned me about $20. Now, in comparison, now that's with limited ads. That's what we call demonetization. Now, if we compare it to the recent Richmond North of Richmond compilation that I did, which got less views, but over 10 times as much earnings, right? Less than 50K views, but it got over $200, about $250. So that's so you could think about demonetization as like basically removing 90% of your income. That's very significant. I'll give you one other example. This is probably, I mean, my most viral video recently in the last couple months, at least last few months, I'd say. It got way more views on Twitter, but still got a lot here on YouTube, over 300,000 views, only $45. Now, I mean, so remember, Richmond North of Richmond, not demonetized, over $200 or $250. This one got almost 10 times as many views as that one, and yet it has a fifth of the revenue, like a fraction. Anyway, and also just to put more perspective for you guys, a video like this, the Nobody is Safe video about the villainization of the unvaccinated, that took a good month to make. And if it wasn't demonetized, I would get, a fair, a significant, helpful income from it. I got $45. Now, hey, $45. I'm grateful for the $45, but for a month's work, that's not great. And I'm grateful that, I'm getting by because I get commissioned by great people like Matt Taibbi, and that helps a lot. Now, but this is an example of a video that was not commissioned that I did myself, worked on for about a month. And because it was demonetized, that's $40 for a month of work. Now, again, I don't do this for the money, but having a stable income really, and it helps, me and any other creator create, because they don't have to. It just makes a big difference because it kind of clears your mind, right? So you don't have to worry about money as much. All right, so that's that. That's just some little insights about the recent censorship story and how demonetization really hurts a creator. About 90% of the income from video is just gone. You lose that. And here, I'll give you another example just of the kind of material that gets you demonetized. I already said, like, generally what gets you demonetized is stuff that, quote unquote, wrongthink. Basically challenging any official narrative, establishment narrative. And what's weird is, in the case of that recent unvaccinated, nobody is safe, unvaccinated villainization video, I didn't use any sources other than mainstream sources. So it's just an example of how the narrative, what's considered harmful or dangerous, changes according to the narrative. So even though I'm not saying anything different than the mainstream media was saying the last few years, it's demonetized on my channel, but none of the, thousands, if not millions of videos, the thousands of primary source videos, those were not demonetized. In fact, those were promoted by the algorithm because they're what YouTube considers authoritative sources, all the mainstream media, corporate news channels. Okay, now here's a specific example, and from YouTube's own community guidelines. And this is also from their harmful or dangerous acts policy, if I'm not mistaken. Let's just confirm that. Yeah, okay. And they say YouTube demonetizing content that, quote, exploits, dismisses, or condones the war in Ukraine. Now, I say, meanwhile, establishment media exploits and condones the war around the clock with tons of corporate ad sponsors. And anyway, and YouTube, it is actually YouTube's official policy to promote that media. So this makes no sense. It's obviously not enforced equally. And think of that language. Any content that, and we'll just go directly to the source here. Ukraine. Okay. Yeah. So it's still, the policy began last year, March 23, 2022, still in effect. Due to the war in Ukraine, content that exploits, dismisses, or condones the war is ineligible for monetization until further notice. Now, obviously, the mainstream corporate cable news channels, they exploit. You could easily say they exploit the war for profit, right? They're earning ad revenue off that. Dismisses or condones. Well, they have guests on constantly condoning the war, not just condoning the war, but arguing to ramp it up more and more. I'm trying to think of an example of dismissing the war. I don't know, but certainly at least two of the three things here, corporate media does constantly, consistently. And yet YouTube promotes their media as authoritative sources and considers them authoritative sources, so promotes them in the algorithm while demonetizing independent creators for the same content. Basically, what it and in effect, what that does, I mean, the purpose seems obviously to be to basically suppress the audience and the viewership, and suppress the income of anybody with an opinion on the Ukraine war that's not a mainstream media source. So anybody else who has an opinion, they could just say, "Oh, that exploits the war," or dismisses the war if they're, or condones the war, even though that. Anyway, I don't want to get in a permanent loop here, but I think you get it. Thank you, Abiding 71 and Sparky. Make Ukraine Russia again, Sparky says. Now, just for reading that, I hope you understand I've risked getting this video demonetized. All right. All right, I'll leave it at that. Thanks very much, everybody. Have a wonderful evening.